You're watching South Asia Newsline, and at the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 20th of November. India hosts Colombo Security Conclave to discuss regional security. Trump claims he threatened India-Pakistan with 350% tariffs if they didn't end conflict. And Bangladesh government owners fear order losses as election nears. And now for all the details. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval convened the 7th meeting of the National Security Advisors of the Colombo Security Conclave in New Delhi on Thursday, bringing together members from the Maldives, Mauritius, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, with Seychelles as an observer and Malaysia invited as a guest to discuss regional security. During the gathering, NSA of Bangladesh, Khalilur Rahman, joined his counterparts and later met Doval. Dhaka's official statement noted that the two discussed the functioning of the conclave and key bilateral issues. Rahman extended an invitation to Doval to visit Bangladesh. The meeting comes amid sharply deteriorating ties between India and Bangladesh after the ouster of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her subsequent death sentence. While Bangladesh has formally requested India to extradite Hasina, who remains in India, New Delhi has responded only by stressing its commitment to peace, democracy and constructive engagement. And speaking at the US-Saudi Investment Forum, US President Donald Trump has said he settled tensions between India and Pakistan after threatening the two countries with 350% tariffs. The US President said that he was all set and told Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that he will put a 350% tariff to settle the conflict and added, if the countries stop the war, we'll make a nice trade deal. Claiming that both India and Pakistan told him not to do it, Donald Trump said that he told them that he will not have India and Pakistan using nuclear weapons.
I was talking about the different wars, and look, India, Pakistan, they were going to go at it, nuclear weapons. They said, that's okay, you can go at it, but I'm putting a 350% tariff on each country, no more trade with the United States. No, you can't do that. I said, I'm going to do it. Come back to me and I'll take it down, but I'm not going to have you guys shooting nuclear weapons at each other, killing millions of people, and having the nuclear dust floating over Los Angeles. I'm not going to do it. They said, we don't like that. I said, I don't care if you like it or not. So I was all set. I told Scott, 350% tariff to settle that war. If you don't, we'll make a nice trade deal. They were in the midst of a deal.
Meanwhile, Trump also claimed that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had called him to say, we are not going to go to war. Trump said he then thanked PM Modi and said, let's make a deal. Trump has repeated the claim over 60 times that he helped settle tension between India and Pakistan in May this year, even as India has denied any third-party involvement. India launched Operation Sindoor on May 7th, targeting terror infrastructure in Pakistan, and Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir in retaliation for the Pahalgam attack that killed 26 civilians.
And I got a call from Prime Minister Modi saying, we're done. I said, you're done with what? We're not going to go to war. I said, thank you very much. Let's make a deal.
Afghanistan's Taliban Trade Minister Alhaj Nooruddin Azizi arrived in India on Wednesday on his first official visit, seeking greater investments and supplies of essential goods, as both sides explore closer engagement amid Kabul's deteriorating ties with Pakistan. India has recently upgraded its outreach by reopening its embassy in Kabul and setting up aid, even as it competes with China for influence. Azizi, upon his arrival, visited the International Trade Fair in New Delhi and will be meeting India's commerce and foreign ministers as well as traders and investors to discuss expanding economic cooperation, easing trade and creating joint investment opportunities. The Taliban administration is also looking for alternatives after Pakistan shut border crossings following deadly clashes last month, disrupting access to grains, medicines and industrial goods. With India operating Iran's Chabahar port, which offers a direct route to Afghanistan, Kabul's trade through Iran has grown to $1.6 billion in 6 months. surpassing its $1.1 billion trade deal with Pakistan. And the International Monetary Fund, in its long-awaited governance and corruption diagnostic assessment, highlighted persistent corruption challenges in Pakistan, driven by systematic weaknesses across state institutions, and called for urgent structural reforms. The publication of the report is a precondition for the IMF Executive Board's approval of a $1.2 billion disbursement expected next month. Indicators show weak control of corruption in Pakistan over time, affecting public spending effectiveness, revenue collection, and trust in the legal system. According to the report, Pakistan faces systematic governance weaknesses across several state functions. It remains exposed to corruption risks stemming from weaknesses in budgeting, fiscal reporting, and the management of public resources, particularly in capital spending, procurement, and oversight of state-owned enterprises. The Human Rights Watch on Thursday said security forces in Nepal used disproportionate force against youth-led protests on 8th of September. The rights watchdog in a statement said it found that police indiscriminately fired on protesters multiple times over 3 hours, killing at least 17 people in Kathmandu. According to the organization, it interviewed 52 witnesses, victims, journalists, medical professionals, politicians, and sources close to the security forces, verified photographs and videos posted on social media, and visited hospitals and the scenes of the protests and arson attacks. The interim government, led by former Chief Justice Sushila Karki, should investigate excessive force, arson, and mob attacks, including those who may have ordered unlawful acts, the Human Rights Watchdog said. The youth-led two-day uprising marked a momentous turning point in Nepal's political history after nationwide protests led by Gen Z protesters demanded an end to rampant and deeply entrenched corruption, resulting in toppling of ex-Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's government. And concern is rising among Bangladesh's ready-made garment factory owners in the run-up to the national election in early 2026, following a court verdict this week sentencing ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death. We have a report.
Bangladesh's ready-made garment, the RMG industry, is facing rising concern ahead of the 2026 national election after a court on Monday sentenced former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death in absentia. Industry leaders say the $40 billion apparel sector has been steadily losing orders since the July 2024 student uprising that forced Hasina to resign. The world's second-largest garment exporter after China, Bangladesh has long struggled with political unrest that disrupts production and shipments. Anxiety deepened as Hasina's party announced nationwide shutdowns. Factory owners have urged the government to show clear leadership and all parties to protect industry stability, warning that weakened law enforcement and renewed turmoil could further hurt exports and remittance flows.
I believe that the overall scenario or the environment should be led by the government together with all the political parties, and under their leadership, law enforcing agency should play their role very effectively, not like what they are doing in last 14 months. We want to see much improved action and activities from their side.
Nazrul Islam, owner of ZS Fashions Limited, said investors remain hesitant to commit new capital in the absence of political stability and a fully elected government. He said continued uncertainty could shrink business further, noting that his factory has already lost an estimated 30 to 40% of export orders in the past year.
আগের তুলনায় বর্তমানে 30-40% অর্ডার কমে গেছে, কারণ বিদেশিরা এই নির্বাচিত সরকার থাকলে সেই দেশে তারা ইনভেস্ট করতে রাজি, নির্বাচিত সরকার না থাকলে ওরা তেমন একটা উৎসাহ দেখায় না, কারণ তারা একটা অনিশ্চয়তায় ভুগে। কারণ এখন বাংলাদেশের যে পরিস্থিতি হয়েছে, শেখ হাসিনাকে এই মৃত্যুদণ্ড দেওয়ার পর এখন আওয়ামী লীগ চাইবো বাংলাদেশটার একটা অস্থিতিশীল ঘটনা করার জন্য। এটা তো সারা বিশ্ব নজরদারিতে রাখছে, তারা দেখতেছে কি হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশে। সুতরাং ক্রেতারা তো চাবে না তারা ইনভেস্ট করে যাতে তারা এখানে একটা সমস্যার সৃষ্টি হোক।
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.